Okay, so I'm getting to now the bigger picture and the smaller picture connected, and I have to verbalize this because this is how I cement information in my body, mind, and spirit. I hear it, I see it, I write it. So I have muscle memory, cell memory, brain memory, and then you guys will figure it out. So we have, what is it, 11 different systems: the circulatory system, the urinary tract system, the endocrine system, digestive, male and female, reproductive, the nervous, skeletal, respiratory, integumentary, lymphatic, and muscular system. Okay, so 11 different systems. You could say 12 if you want to separate male and female. There is no actual immune system as an actual system. And this is what we have to realize now, how language and how science can have you kind of be misdirected. So there's 12 different systems if you separate male and female, but there is no actual immune system as an actual system by itself. No, the immune system is housed within the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system holds the T cells and the B cells, and also how prostaglandins are expressed and they can be used to inhibit immunity. Okay, so you can have a prostaglandin inhibitor that will inhibit prostaglandins to stop the cell regeneration or stop the overproduction of antibodies. But here's the thing: the outcome is the intention. So when you're out there getting all of your different immunotherapy, and you are suppressing your pain, which is your evolution, you are actually inhibiting the cell regeneration prostaglandins in your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system has the B cells and the T cells. The B cells is the bone marrow cells that are the natural killer cells, part of the white blood cells, which both B cells and T cells are both white blood cells. But the B cells come from the bone marrow, part of your innate immune system, and the T cells are part of your adaptive immune system. And they're still a white blood cell, but they are basically antibodies. There are enzymes that are also antibodies. Enzyme antibodies, there's another name for them, CAT, MAB, or something like that. There's different names for them in biotech. But the prostaglandins can be used to control immunity. Immunity is death. When you allow a prostaglandin, which is life, to then overtake death, that means that we are now trying to stop the death process within your body at the micro level. So you can use prostaglandins to control your immunity as well as increase your immunity by allowing more prostaglandins to surface, to accumulate, whatever, right? But then you have tumors because you have a lot of tumor growth because of too much prostaglandins, or you have too many prostaglandins, too much prostaglandins being induced, and then that creates more antibodies, which then stops hair growth. Okay, so there is no actual system called the immune system when it has to do with the 12 different systems. It's the lymphatic system, your lymph nodes. When you have all this crap in your lymph nodes and you have lymphoma, lymph node cancer, all those antibodies, okay, that are destroying you at the micro level, and then there's no cell regeneration, or your body's trying to evolve as it's being attacked by antibodies, and then you are systematically going in and taking certain prostaglandin inhibitors to stop the inflammation, which, okay, I can understand. Inflammation also has to do with antibodies, but it also stops cell regeneration, and that's why you're seeing the aging process. The aging process is where your hair, skin, and nails, your integumentary system, are being depleted. And that's why you see people losing their collagen. Their eyes are all sunken in. They hardly have any skin. It's like very thin skin over bones because there's no fat. And that fat has the prostaglandins. You're supposed to have fat in your body to help with to allow the prostaglandins, those lipid fat enzymes, whatever, to then allow the healing as well as the inducement of antibodies as it needs to. And then you're losing minerals in your hair, so then your hair is turning white or gray or thin, and then you're losing muscle. You're losing muscle. Now you only have like just, a little bit of fat and a little bit of skin on your bones. And that's why, then you're losing bone density. So now you have osteoporosis, and maybe you have, nervous system, muscular issues. And now you have like, rheumatoid arthritis and osteoporosis and balding, and you're losing your eyesight and you're losing your faculties. And that's the aging process because you're not allowing the prostaglandins to induce cell replication because you have so many antibodies punching holes in your gut, so that way you can't absorb the nutrition. And that is what is being promoted through Dr. Fossey, Dr. Phil, all the doctors out there. There are no doctors out there that promote life. They promote the perception of life, but they do not promote life in the most truest sense. And I wish that a doctor would finally see what they're doing. But no, remember, they get paid too much money to find ways to manipulate your genome and make you think that they're allowing you to live a little bit longer. And they can't guarantee how much life they're going to give you. But hey, you know, you're having an evolution and you're thinking you're going to die from, yes, a lot of inflammation because of antibodies are being induced. But you're not given the other part of the formula, which is the releasing of the excess antibodies and the cell regeneration at the micro level, which means you have to feel pain at some point. You got to do waterfalls on the J juice. You got to feel to heal. You got to feel the white pain of light until you finally are able to regenerate, and then you never have to deal with that again. But yeah, you go and confront an immunologist and you ask them about prostaglandins. You ask them about the T cells and the B cells being induced or being promoted and replicated. And then, you know, why are you allowing the prostaglandin inhibitors to stop cell regeneration to where you're allowing someone to age at a very accelerated rate? Why are you promoting chemotherapy and cannabis, which are both antibiotic, anti-life? Okay, because it's messing with your hormones, and it's used, and it creates antibodies, because when you get a titer test for a drug test, they test how many recent antibodies or what your recent exposure is to cannabis. And those antibodies will tell on you every single day. Okay? So, but yeah, no one's going to confront their doctor because they won't have the vocabulary yet to articulate what I'm trying to say. But I'll mark my words, any doctor out there that deals in immunology, B cells and T cells, knows exactly what I'm talking about. And they are the doctors of death. Immunologists are doctors of death because they're not promoting the life side of the lymphatic system. They're promoting the death side of it. Okay? And so let's get technical and let's work with what is being given to us. So there's 12 different systems, and there is no immune system by itself that represents the whole. It's your lymphatic system that holds the B cells and the T cells and the prostaglandins that are part of your life side. Okay, so your lymphatic system is probably the most important that doesn't get enough credit. Only different aspect of it, like the antibodies, which is part of the satanic Rockefeller medicine. Now we can counter that energy with life energy and say, okay, let's promote the life side of your lymphatic system, which is then a component of your immune system, which is under the umbrella of your lymphatic system. Then you have the muscular system, you have the integumentary system, you have the respiratory system, the skeletal, the nerves, the male and female portion of it, the digestive, the endocrine, the urinary, and the circulatory. And your lymphatic system has their hands in everything. Okay? Hey, Patricia. So that's what Jilly Juice does. Jilly Juice expresses the life side of your lymphatic system, and it helps control immunity. Because if you have too much immunity, you have freaking death. 100% immunity equals 100% death. 80% immunity means that you are 80% dead, 20% alive. 10% immunity means that you have 10% death, 90% alive. And then you are seeing systematically your immunity increase. And so that's the whole point of the vaccinations. That's the whole point of the therapeutics. That's the whole point of all the different holistic and allopathic intentions. All their remedies, all of their different protocols, the diets that are starving you from nutrition, whether it's through, you know, your politics against, you know, meat, to where you don't want to eat shellfish because it's bad for you, whatever. All these different false dichotomies that you guys have been pulled into because of the satanic agenda of Rockefeller medicine has now got you to this point of where now you're struggling for life. And Jilly Juice is now going to give back your life if you can handle the healing life process. It's not easy. I'm telling you, it's not easy. Even Patricia knows how not easy it is. It's going on and off, on and off. And I understand where you're coming from. That's why I said I wasn't going to answer you, but I'm answering you, Patricia, because I know you're dealing with some stuff. Believe me, I know. I've dealt with a bunch of crap in the last 5 years, 4 years. And it's not easy to heal at the micro level. It's like peeling back the layers of programming. And I've had to just right now, I finally, slowed down and was able to focus on prostaglandins. But I had to figure out how I'm going to get this book written. There's just so much to this book that I'm like, holy crap. Not only the Georgia Guidestones, not only, the behavioral sync and those experiments by John B. Calhoun, but then, all the other, things that I brought into, telomeres and, hell, I mean, there's so much. There's so much. And so I'm trying to bring it all together and connect all the dots. So that way, then you're like, okay, I understand the Jilly Juice protocol. I'm going to, so really this book, this last book I'm writing should be the first book that you give your friends and family so they can see the big picture. And then when they're ready to actually take on their life, then they can go get the evolution of the Jilly Juice protocol. But they have to look at what's going on right now. Yeah, we're in a depopulation agenda, but it's not totally all bad. There's imbalances out there in your community. It. There's deviancy. There's sexual deviancy. There's criminals. There's so much imbalances to where we have to have law enforcement and government agencies and family planning services and CPS and lawyers and a judicial system and a legislative system because you have to create all these laws because people are not easily controllable. They're not working from a peaceful point of view. And so if you give these ultimatums that if you do this, then this will happen, that's the only way you can control people's emotions and people's behaviors, is if you say, okay, if you steal, then you're going to go to jail. But a very balanced person would not steal. A very balanced person would not hit somebody. A very balanced person would not cause harm to their own body, mind, and spirit, much less somebody else's. Okay? So this depopulation agenda is not all bad, but your friends and family who are really innately good people who happen to have different fluctuations in their biochemistry, they got issues to deal with. And, you give them this information, they'll either take it or leave it. Some people will still stay stuck in the programming of they should die at some point. Go out with a bang. And other people are like, you know what? I really don't like the misery of the death process. I really don't. I'm willing to face the healing process, which is much like the death process. Okay? But it's a death of the old world, the old way of thinking. And now you have the right chemistry to back up what you believe in, which is pro-life, at the micro level, which will then eventually translate to the macro level where then you won't have to reproduce children. But unless you want to. But then down the road, the Georgia Guidestones say we want to control reproduction carefully or whatever. Okay? So just understand that Jilly Juice is really it's a life-promoting type of protocol, and it counters the death energy. And then you have as above, so below. You will still have symptoms that you will see that you already have predispositions to, whether it's menopause or cardiovascular issues. You will experience every single thing that you've been predisposed to, whether it's trauma or whatever you inherited genetically, and you will experience those on the as above, so below. But as above, you're doing the Jilly Juice, and you're going to actually live on a continuous basis. You have all your different predispositions and your health issues and whatever on the as below. The end result is death. So which do you want, life or death? As above or so below? And that's exactly the same thing as yin and yang. Okay? You have a little bit of antibodies in the life side, and then a whole lot of life. That's the white side of the yin and yang symbol. Then on the black side or the dark side, there is all this darkness, which is all these antibodies, and then one little tiny white circle of life. That's the world that we live in right now, is the yin side, not the yang side. The yin side is all the white energy, the life side, and the yang the yang side, is all the white energy and everything. And the yin side is all the dark, death, and whatever. Okay? So that kind of brings it all together as far as the lymphatic system. And then the components underneath that is your immune system. And underneath that is the prostaglandins and the antibodies, and turning those genes on and off, or turning those enzymes and those hormones on and off. And that's what creates your biodiversity. That's why you have so much diversity in the population, why there's so many imbalances, and why there's like the Tower of Babel, because biotech has been manipulating you ever since who knows when. Ever since they came into existence, ever since they figured out how to compartmentalize everything and then manipulate everything. Whether it's the weather, or your body, or your plants, or your food, that's okay. Remember, you can counter any negative energy. You can have an intentional energy to live when someone's intention is to destroy you. Okay? And life will always win out if you have more life than death. But if you allow someone to sell you on death, then you'll have more death. If you sell people on life, then you'll have more life. Okay? Either way, someone's going to sell you on their perspective of what they think you should be. All right? You take care. No worries, Patricia. Welcome back. Bye.